write each of the following as a single fraction in its simplest form. So we have x minus 3 over x squared minus 3x minus 4 minus x minus 1 over x squared minus x minus 2. So the first thing we're going to do is factorize the denominator. So x squared minus 3x minus 4 factorizes to x plus 1 times x minus 4. And our numerator is, so that should be x minus 3. So that should be minus there. I'll just change it now. So we have x minus 3 over x plus 1 times x minus 4. And then we're going to factorize the denominator on the second fraction. So we factorize x squared minus x minus 2. We get x plus 1 times x minus 2. So have a look at the two denominators. We have x plus 1 times x minus 4 and x plus 1 times x minus 2. So notice that the highlighted factors are the same. So x plus 1 is a common factor to both, so multiplying the other fraction by what's left over. So what we want to do is put x plus 1, x minus 4 and x minus 2 together to create one big common denominator. And we can see it down here in this step. So we have x plus 1 times x minus 4 times x minus 2 is the common denominator. So in order for that to happen, we take the first denominator and we have a look and we see what's left out in order to get down to this step. And it's clearly the x minus 2. So we're going to multiply this entire denominator by x minus 2. So we're going to multiply this entire denominator by x minus 2. So that we end up with this as our common denominator. But what we do to the bottom, we do to the top. What we do to the top, we do to the bottom. So we must multiply the numerator also by x minus 2. So we have x minus 3 multiplied by x minus 2. So they're stuck together. And the reason for doing that is by multiplying above and below by x minus 2, you're really multiplying by 1. Because x minus 2 divided by x minus 2 is 1. Anything divided by itself is 1. So therefore, by multiplying by this, you're not changing the value of this fraction. So that's how we were able to get this as a common denominator, which is what we want. So then we do the same with the other fraction. We have a look at the denominator and we see what's left out, what's left over. So what's left is the x minus 4. We want to stick that on to the denominator that's already there. So we want to end up with this. But in order to do that, what we're technically doing is we're multiplying x plus 1 by x minus 2. You're multiplying this denominator by x minus 4 so that you can just stick it on down here. But what we do to the bottom, we do to the top. So we multiply x minus 1, which is the numerator, also by x minus 4. So we just stick them together. So next we multiply the brackets. So x by x is x squared, and x by minus 2 is minus 2x. Minus 3 by x is minus 3x, and minus 3x minus 2x is minus 5x. And minus 3 times minus 2 is positive 6. Then we bring down the minus. Then we multiply out these brackets. X by x is x squared, x by minus 4 is minus 4x, minus 1 by x is minus 1x, and minus 4x minus 1x is minus 5x. And then minus 1 times minus 4 is positive 4. And we notice that our denominators were the same, so we now have that single denominator underneath. So x plus 1 times x minus 4 times x minus 2 are common denominator. Next we simplify. X squared minus x squared will cancel. Minus 5x minus minus 5x becomes minus 5x plus 5x, which will cancel. And then 6 minus 4 is 2. So we end up with 2 over x plus 1 times x minus 4 times x minus 2. And this is our final answer.